Okay, let's go ahead and call to order the meeting of the Tax Increment Reinvestment Zone Number 1 being held today, Tuesday, February 11th at 5:30 at the Community Development Department. The first item on the agenda is call to order, calling the meeting to order. Second item on the agenda is roll call.
Okay, Ms. Patricia Goldberg, Arturo Garcia,
Present.
Jose Castillo,
Present.
Kirby,
Present.
Mr. Henry,
Here.
Mr. Jose Ceballos,
Here.
and Ms. Carol Alexander.
Here.
You have quorum.
Thank you very much. The minutes of the prior meeting were sent to us by email.
Motion to approve minutes for November 12th?
Okay, there's been a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, before I take the vote, are there any comments or changes? I had one. So I think what's missing on this, which I think was very important at this meeting, and correct me, maybe I'm thinking of the wrong meeting, but Kirby, wasn't this the meeting in which you gave a very robust support of your experience with Able City and your confidence in their ability? And I think that kind of a omission from the minutes is too large an omission.
Henry, I think that was the one before, because I wasn't at this meeting, so I just watched it, and then I
Perfect.
watched the one
Okay.
I
before.
think it was the previous.
Yeah.
Was it in that, were those in the minutes?
I believe so.
Well, they were adopted, it's official, but I did, if someone had an original
Comment?
thought, then that was.
Very
recorded.
good, thank you.
We
I
can
just want to
share.
make sure,
I'll
they
say
were
it again.
using. No, I just think that, as I'm reading through the minutes, and I'm reviewing the information there, I'm thinking about the conversation in general.
It was, because I don't think I,
And I just don't want to miss someone who makes comments, that are worth, that are noting. The minutes have always been a good, these have been good minutes, and I've had very few comments on them, but that was one that I thought was missing, but apparently it was the prior meeting.
well,
I
I'm
just-
glad you're
and I
listening to what
verified.
I'm saying.
I listened to what you say, Kirby.
Wow.
And I verified they are.
Very good.
They were stated.
Thank you very much. Okay, other than my mistaken,
Thought she was gonna
mistaken
get
meeting-
verified that he's listening.
Come on in, sir, if you want to join us.
Are there any other comments,
Oh,
corrections to the minutes of the prior meeting? Sensing none, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, we have a visitor, I don't know if he wants to comment on anything, we already passed the citizen, no, we haven't.
No, actually, we haven't gone to that just yet, but thank you for pointing that out.
No.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get to the next item, item 4, citizen comments. Citizens are required to fill out a witness card or submit it to the chairperson or his designee no later than 5:45 PM and identify themselves at the microphone. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker. No more than 3 persons will be allowed to speak on any side of any issue. There should be no more than 3 people who will wish to speak on a particular issue. They need to select not more than 3 representatives to speak for them, and the presiding officer may limit the public comments further in the interest of an orderly meeting. Speakers may not pass their minutes to any other speaker. Comments should be relevant to the city business and delivered in a professional manner. No derogatory remarks will be permitted. Our system here is a little less formal, so we don't have cards for signing in, but you will have to identify yourself. Are there any citizens to be heard?
Next to you.
I don't know if you're here to just listen in or.
Oh, wow. I can always get involved. Go ahead.
So, my name is Priscilla Iglesias. I'm the Executive Director for Laredo Main Street. And I've been at several of these meetings, but since it's the new one for the new year, I'd just like to reintroduce myself to the group. Let everybody know that anything that we could help Main Street help facilitate for this group, we're more than happy to do so. And I also did receive I guess it's like a workshop invitation by the chamber that I think would be good for the group to know. On March 3rd, they're going to be inviting Frank Alvarez, who is a senior analyst for the Texas State Comptroller's Office. They're going to be talking about what is a TERS, what is Chapter 380, and how businesses can use incentives and hotel motel funds, for their businesses, so I think that's interesting.
And where's it gonna be?
It's going to be at the college. I can forward, if
Yeah,
you
please.
just give
Is
me
it-
somebody's
It's the
email.
chamber organizing
The
it, right?
chamber, yes.
So I did send a message to Miriam, at the chamber saying, you might find it useful to invite a couple of members from the TERS board to attend the program, because we could also add to the conversation there.
Yeah,
So I just saw the invitation today. I made comments to Miriam this afternoon, and I know she's at a couple of meetings, so she'll probably get back to me later.
yeah, so, I think it's like $30 for non-members. If you are a member, it's free. So I don't know where you all stand, but that's just my 2 cents.
That's great. Very good. Any other comments, or any questions, first of all, of the presentation of the program? No? Okay.
See why Benavides, I could talk for hours here with you guys about all kinds of things that I'm involved in. A couple of things that I think are important. As you may or may not know, we've started some restorations at the Laredo Boys and Girls Club. We should be the USO, and I think that should be considered in some of the programs that you might have up and coming. We're gonna be coming to the city to talk about things that we need, for the youth of Laredo that will impact, our entire city. But as we redevelop, we would like to be considered if anything in your all's bailiwick could apply. We're also owners of properties down in downtown that are currently not being used, that, potentially could have value to this organization, to the community, even across the street right here where the old Milmo Bank, which, lies vacant, which is a really incredible piece of property. If you get inside that building, it's got a unique location, but my great-grandmother's house and all kinds of other properties that I think that, merit some consideration to develop. And, one thing I was telling Ms. Alexander a couple of months ago is that I think if we focus on one particular area the most and try to, knock out, block by block instead of trying to piecemeal different projects throughout the downtown area, might be helpful to some of the things that, we could succeed in. Our family would participate if we could, or in any way, shape, or form with you guys, Those are just a couple of properties and a couple of ideas that I think have lots of merit for the ability, to have something that could be a resource that, is an asset to our family, but we don't really utilize it like we should. And that's because you have different people wanting different directions. But if we could come as a community, I think the family would consider participation. Especially like that downtown property, of my grandmother's. I don't think there's a house in the state of Texas, that's historic and interesting. That could be a museum, or it could be all kinds of different things. For this community, it's a true gem, and it's sound.
Which
So-
property is that?
The property over here at Jarvis Plaza.
It has that carriage house
Yeah,
in the back. I think it's on
it's a-
Iturbide, but it's on.
Like a pink stone.
Right.
Oh,
It's
okay.
right across from St. Peter's.
It's a.
Right,
the-
it's-
Oh, yes.
Oh, and
So
then
the
It's
church is at this
for the
corner,
Canseco,
it's
right?
caddy
Yeah.
corner.
No,
No,
from where
but
the-
that one, the Canseco was an afterthought
No.
after they built this one.
Okay.
And the integrity is totally different. I mean, this was built with the entire blocks.
Mhm.
I want to believe that they took the remnants of what they didn't use and built that home.
Oh, okay.
But this one is structurally intact. I mean, so it has like a baby grand piano and all kinds of stuff that belonged to one of my great uncles inside of it. Stuff that, they might would even consider to do something with, but, I thought about all
Doesn't
kinds
have
of
plans?
applications. No?
No.
Family doesn't have plans for that?
Not right now, and that's what I'm saying. I mean, and it's a total gem. I mean, you can't even believe how cool that place is. It's got a giant basement the size of the entire building underneath it. I mean, it's got all kinds of things that could be used for anything and everything. Multiple associations, groups, and something that the community could get real involved with. And it's a cool neighborhood, and it has a lot of upside with the birding and everything else that you could do. And who knows the possibilities. And unfortunately, because of our personal problems, we haven't been able to come. But as a group, I think if we can get it out of our family, so to speak, it could have great value. I mean, same thing with across the street right here next door. That little office is so unique, and most people don't even know it exists. And that's just one. I mean, we have the Ramirez home. We got
¿Dónde estaba el VIP?
right here.
Yeah,
Oh,
P-Travel.
oh,
Yeah, that's the old Milmo Bank building.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
I think.
tons of history there. And it's right here. you
And
know?
that's what we've been talking about as we've been talking about the downtown area, just to let you know. You know, we have certain projects that we're focusing on in terms of streetscape development, but one thing that's important to us is also bringing back living and breathing life into the area so that it's not an area that people disappear after work because they don't live in this area. And there are a lot of people that live in the area, but we want to encourage more living in the
Yeah,
area.
and that's what I kind of like about my great grandmother's house.
Yeah.
I think there's some people trying to commit real resources to making that nice, and
I think so
if we
too.
continue that process, I mean, I think the family would even participate financially with you guys, as long as it maintains some kind of historic integrity of the family, So
Good.
there's all kinds of options like that right now, and timing is everything, and I think the timing's right. Industry and this community overall financially are booming, and if we can't do it now, you never can do anything.
And we have a number of people that are working on a number of projects right now. We've discussed the fact that it's not any one project that suddenly makes things work. It's a layering process, and you just don't know which is the layer of that project that then causes things to start moving forward a lot faster. But that's what we're working towards with all the smaller projects that are going on, and then hopefully with the project that we're gonna be working with.
Yeah, and I don't want to take away from anything you already said, I'm just saying.
No, actually,
There's tons of assets
it's
that
the
are out there.
opposite.
Actually-
We're saying it complements what we're
Yeah.
working with. That's what we want. As a matter of fact, what we need to really make a stronger effort to do is, and I'll help commit to that, is we used to have an ongoing list. We circulate a sign-in sheet, and I don't know if we've been circulating the sign, we have circulated it today.
It's over here.
It is, okay,
Yeah, it is.
and we ask guests to sign in as well, so that when we have the mail out the following meeting for the next TERS meeting, we invite not only, we remind, we don't invite them because we're obligated to be there. We remind not only the board members, but we invite the guests from that prior meetings to start coming. So I'd like to get that list going again. There was a time when we would have, you may remember, Priscilla, a good 5, 6, 7 people that would attend at a time because they were being reminded about the meeting. So maybe that's something we start again. Very good. Thank you.
No, thank you guys.
Appreciate it. Okay, the next item on the agenda is, item 5. Welcome, Mr. Jose Ceballos to the board as its newest member. Jose, I know you have a lot to learn because you don't know downtown and you're not familiar with housing and things like that.
Never been to before.
But
Good
we'll
to be there.
work with us, we're gonna bring you up to speed very soon. I think you're gonna be an excellent addition to the board, and just like to welcome you to the
Thank
board.
you.
I don't know
Thank
if any of the other board members have any comments?
I'm sure Mr. Jose Ceballos will learn a little bit about housing from us.
Exactly.
I appreciate everybody here, and thank you, Henry, for your leadership. I know you brought this organization quite a ways in terms of getting it structured. Finally have a contract. I know things are about to happen, so I'm pleased to join you all and support you in all of your efforts.
Very good. And if you hadn't had a chance, those board members that are with us, to send a note to Ben Quigg thanking him. I know the city sent him a letter thanking him for his service, and I'm sure he'd appreciate it. Hear from the board members just also thanking him for the time he was on the board. Next item on the agenda is item 6, the TERS meetings calendar for 2020. So in the packets that were circulated, we have a proposed calendar for the meetings for 2020. I have one comment. March 10th, the city of Laredo is in DC. And probably some of the board members as well. So I'm wondering if this is not one of those months that we should move the meeting for the following Tuesday, maybe?
The following Tuesday would be spring break.
Spring break, that's a good point.
Do we all get screwed?
Well, I mean.
So-
Just wanna put it out.
I'm just
No,
kidding.
no, that's a good point. So it's March 10th is the trip. It could be as early as March 3rd, which is the first Tuesday, instead of the fourth because the fourth, Tuesday is the 24th. Any thoughts?
The 17th is okay, I mean,
You're okay with spring break?
yeah.
And not only is it spring break, it's St. Patrick's Day. So we're gonna have to come dressed in green.
It's a 2:30 meeting, right? So it's a,
Yeah, it's a 2:30 meeting.
Oh, wait, are we changing it? Can we-
Oh, yeah, the March would be.
March 17th?
I mean, you all can do it.
It's March
yeah, March 7th, well, the board hasn't taken a vote,
Yes,
but.
they have to vote on the calendar.
So we're, is that, I guess, motion to change, the March 10th to the March 17th meeting at 2:30?
Okay, there's a motion on the floor to change March 10th to March 17th. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, so any other comments on the agenda, on the calendar as proposed?
Are we gonna be required to wear green?
Yes, you'll be required to wear green on March 7th.
I would just like to see if we could ask staff to just kind of send out the yearly outlook notices so we can already have them on the calendar,
That sounds good.
if they could. A motion to approve the calendars presented with the amended change of March 17th.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Approved as presented with the one amendment, and request that the Outlook calendar be sent to board members so that they can ahead of time so they can have this on their agendas. Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is item 7, review and approval of the TERS annual report to the state of Texas. And that's my item, folks, and guess what, I forgot at the office, that item, and it's due this month. So basically, what we're being asked to prepare, and what the item looks like, and I'll circulate it, again, my apologies, I ran out of the office too quickly. It's very similar to last year's document, and what it is, it's a one-page document that describes what the TERS is, what we've been doing, meaning working with the draft of the contracts, working with the downtown tours to get to know the downtown area, basically a summary of activity that's occurred prior to the report being presented. In fact, for the last calendar year. Then it also includes, as an attachment, the update on finances. And Jose provided the finances to us regarding the money that's come in to fund the TERS. So if you will give me till early next week, because I'm leaving Laredo right after this meeting. So I'll hit the road and come back late Friday, or late Thursday, Friday, I'm not sure. And Monday or Tuesday, I'll put this together, circulate it to the board members. I don't think there'll be a problem with it because it's a template we've been using for prior years. And if you all agree and you all don't see a problem with it, I'll then let the city know that that's fine, and they can submit it by the deadline, which is February 27th, if I'm not mistaken, is the deadline by the time they have to have it to the state.
I think, I'd just like the motion, just to submit as a staff report for the next, meeting, just so we can all get to see it, and
Okay.
report on.
Very good.
We've reported it before without approval,
Yeah, we have.
so.
Okay, so, I mean, I don't know that we need a motion on this, but
Just,
basically what's being
Okay,
suggested,
so I withdraw my motion.
yeah, that we just show you a copy of the report as presented. It has been presented every year since the TERS was established. It's a pro forma, so to speak. Does anybody have a problem with that, board members? Okay.
It's very straight, if I can just reiterate, it's just a very straightforward report. Jose provides the financials, how much has been collected for the year. We haven't had any expenditures or anything to that date, so there's nothing to report on that side, and basically just.
Well, we
correct,
have
yeah.
had expenditures.
The only expenditure will be the
Oh.
administrative fee for the state of Laredo.
Oh,
Right,
okay,
the
but
5%.
that's kind
Right.
But they're gonna waive it this year.
Is there a second to the motion?
No, there's no motion.
Yeah, no.
Oh.
Waiving.
Sorry, no.
Maybe we could, do we have that number?
I have some numbers here, and I have the financials actually, and we can go over it. I have some extra copies here.
Yeah, thank you. At least, this is the more relevant part of the report that goes attached to the report, so.
I can make extra copies.
There's two lines. As of, I have two numbers there. The financial statements includes two financial statements. One is as of September 30th, which is the end of the fiscal year, and then one as of January 31st, which is the most current one. As of, if you like to, we can go over the financial statement. As of September 30th, we had total assets of $193,000, which consisted of cash, investments, accrued interest, and taxes receivables of $3,616. We had an accounts payable for $20, and then a fund balance of $190,000, $25.63. For the fiscal year, we started a fund balance of $264,000. We collected revenues of $355,000. Administrative expenses of $30,304, with an ending fund balance of $190,000, $25.63. As of January 31st, we had investments, a total assets of $841,000, of which $706,474 is in investments, and the rest is taxes receivables. We had deferred revenues of $135,000, which is actually the accounts receivable, taxes receivables, and we had a fund balance of $706,474.
So the important number is the 706.
Yeah, 706 is a total investment that we have.
What is deferred revenue?
It's actually your taxes receivable. We don't recognize revenues until we actually collect them. So it offsets the receivable. The taxes receivable equals your deferred revenues.
And you accrue interest at the end of the year, or?
It's accrued interest at the end of the year, yes.
So technically, we still have like
Yeah.
135,000 pending, right?
Yeah, as of January 31st, it's 135,000.
So the fee for the city's participation is about almost about $3,500 a month?
Well, this should be for 3 months. I need to make sure that is correct.
Oh, $3,500
Yeah.
every 3 months.
For the quarter, I guess. In this case, it will be for the quarter, but I need to double check on that number.
Because it's 30,000 for a night.
Yeah, I know, for a year, it's
Right.
30,000.
It's on a percentage basis, no?
It's 5%
5%.
of the collections.
Very good. So this is basically the information that's attached to the one-page summary of activity. And it's sent to the state because by state law, TERS, all TERS districts must submit a report of activity for the prior year. Any more questions?
No.
Has everybody signed in, including guests? Very good. Let me go ahead and pass this down so that we can have you all sign in. Thank you very much.
You can stay there, Sheila.
Okay. So, the next item on the agenda is a review and the approval of the TERS agreement with Able City. Board members, you received it, I believe it was this afternoon, right? Okay.
Well, we had already seen the proposal, we had already agreed on the proposal, that's a key.
I agree, I agree we had, but I'm very hecesitant to approve something I haven't,
I did notice, I did wanna see if we could add just on the agreement, on the section 15, the contract notices. It says Henry Savigny, chairman. There's a lot of confusion with documents and just so they don't get lost. Could we add a 3rd floor, east wing, community development offices?
So can I make a suggestion? Because I think that point's a good one, and that's why I agree. We've agreed to everything in principle, but really what we agreed to is what we saw in the Able City draft, which was used to create this draft. I don't think Able City's even seen this draft, and they have to sign it as well. So why don't we do this? Can we give us a couple of days to look this over? And I don't know the policy, city policy on this or the TERS policy on this. Are electronic votes approvals
No.
allowable?
No.
No? Okay, so then I suggest we reconvene in a week, because I don't wanna wait a month, or sometime next week, even if it's just the board, our board members to sit down, reconvene for one item, this item, and its approval. It'll give Able City the chance to look at the agreement, which I think is only fair, and it'll give the rest of us the opportunity to read, to.
I mean, well, I'd like to say something real
Yeah.
quick. In reality, if we just take the time right now, the key 4 pages and just the exhibit is the proposal that we've reviewed like 5 times already.
Is Able City comfortable with that?
I don't have a.
Well,
They don't have a copy.
Well,
Where-
I-
Able
well,
City's,
Well, it's not,
Yeah.
well, the thing to it is, if we accept the agreement.
then we can
and then
turn
we
it
give
over
it
to Able
them.
City?
Yes.
Yeah, so we don't take their consideration.
Got it,
Yeah.
I hear you.
So if you just read I'm willing to just wait here till everybody reads it right
It's a
here.
standard, yeah.
And have to come back and regroup for another hour or 2.
Okay, that's fine, then let's do that.
As far as the notes, Arturo, what you mentioned, as far as, I believe it might have to make reference to how the board, is registered. It might, I don't believe it might be registered under 1301 Farragut. It might be registered under Houston Street.
Okay, yeah,
So-
that's my concern.
Yeah,
because
so
you know-
I'll
you know how
verify
mail-
with
you know-
legal.
You know how mail gets lost?
Yeah, I'll verify with legal, but I wouldn't
Yeah.
think that it had to have this address.
Yeah, just.
I
to
would think that it
confirm.
has to have the address of the city or the way the board is set up.
Yeah,
What do you happen to know, Mr. Castillo?
Yeah, my concern was that it might get lost because we get it, well, being here 10, 20 plus years,
Yeah.
a lot of mail gets lost. So that's why I wanna make sure we clarify.
Yeah, and I can, maybe I'll vote on, executing this contract. I can just, with that exception, I can just make sure that, legal updates that address to the address registered for the board.
I'm fine with this, with the form being used. I've read the sheets.
Just
I think the clauses that were, I was here when this was discussed, is a term and then a termination clause that's in there. That takes care of the concerns that you all expressed last time. And then I'm interested in having Able City start on some work on the assessment, because I know we've been waiting on that.
I have to send this language to our insurance.
Yes, we're gonna approve it,
So
and
we'll
then you,
approve it,
you'll,
and it's for your review, your company's review.
you sign it, we're
Right.
signing it today, but you can decide not to sign it.
Yeah.
But
Or
it's not
come back
binding
with
until you sign
revisions.
it as well.
I know, but, okay.
It's standard city language.
It's like when we take something
Do
to,
you see anything striking that you wanna discuss, or?
I have to send this, I usually don't, every time there's some special language on insurance,
It's prepared
I
by
have
legal
to send
department,
it,
so.
Right.
I have to send it to our insurance carrier. And they will tell us whether, they're very strict about that. We can't sign indemnification agreements unless they review it.
So this looks like anybody can fire, each party can fire the other one each 30 days, every 30 days.
Yeah, that's what we discussed.
Yeah,
Then make it available for both parties
right, right.
to end. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I just went through it real quick.
So you're gonna add this, oh, did you say about
So
this?
They'll
to the
take care of
city?
it, they'll take care of it at the legal level, just to get the correct address. I'm just afraid of, when you start talking about mail.
Yeah.
Just, to me,
Yeah.
it's-
So this is the exhibit one, right?
Contract.
Can you make a motion to approve?
Which is basically, the proposal put together by Able City.
I'll support you.
Right.
Most of it
And
is
then,
the
so the one thing that we
proposal.
did discuss there was that out, which is a 30-day, and that's over determination, which is right here. Yeah.
Mr. Chair, are you satisfied with the,
Yes, I am.
okay, I'll make a motion that we approve the document as presented.
I'll second it.
So there's a motion on the table to approve the document as presented, and a second. Is there, any discussion?
As presented or with that?
Oh,
With the
address.
Just with the address.
Correction.
Correction.
Okay,
As amended.
but we don't know that it can be, or we're
No,
gonna
yeah,
check into that, or?
just whatever legal says, just to
I'll
make sure.
verify with the address that the church board is registered under. I think that should be the address that reflects there.
Okay,
And then what I'll do, if y'all motion with that, I'll just take it to your office once it's,
okay.
I
and
thought
then
it-
we'll forward it.
I
to
thought
you.
it was to add a third address.
No.
No.
The board itself has a specific address based on the legal documents,
Oh, it's not that.
and I don't believe so.
This one is the address for this department. I don't think, I wouldn't think that it's this address.
Do you all have errors and omissions insurance, or did the city not require that of you all?
Of the board? I wouldn't know. I would need to check.
Well, so you're a separate entity from the city of Laredo, so
Yes.
we're gonna have to have an answer to that. for
Right.
you-
Right,
For your own protection.
okay.
Okay. All right.
Sensing, thank you.
Okay.
Sensing no other, comments or discussion from the board members, we'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay? No nay, sensing, the ayes have it, and the, agreement is approved as presented with that address question. Thank you.
You should get the insurance,
Somebody did motion it.
just FYI.
Yes.
So, Henry, you're familiar with errors and omissions, I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should have that.
You definitely should have that in this
We're
organization.
probably under the umbrella of the city, but we should confirm.
I can verify.
You know what, I don't,
You don't think so?
I don't think
We'll
so.
confirm.
Let's go with the Laredo Finance Corporation.
They're not under the umbrella.
They're under pseudo.
Each one of you could be directly liable.
Right, that's correct. That's what we need to double check.
We're also mostly city employees, so what are you gonna take? No, we don't have much.
It just depends.
No,
It just depends.
Yeah, well, we'll settle for your car.
You take away the payment?
Okay, good point. Next item on the agenda is, there are no more items on the agenda. But what I usually do at the end, is,
But we do have one visitor that didn't, I don't know if she have any comments.
No, that's okay, I was actually just coming to hear and listen and kind of learn a little bit, so.
We usually introduce ourselves.
Yes,
go ahead,
I was
please.
running really late.
Not a
so
problem,
I'm
not a
sorry.
problem. Why don't you introduce?
Yes, my name is Lisbeth Uribe. I am a local real estate broker. I'm with NAI Swisher and Martin Realty, and I like to get involved in what's going on downtown. I'm interested in the development, so I work with a lot of investors, so I'm trying to see what, and which way and how we can help.
Very good. You missed the part that we said that, we're gonna be making a stronger effort this year to, remind those people that come as guests about the next meeting, the following meeting, just as a reminder, because we certainly do want community participation, especially since we, envision that, the projects will start moving forward, once there's a review on your side and everything's taken care of. But, I'm encouraged by at least this giant step forward, by the board. We've been working on this for quite a while, so I can't tell you.
We've been talking on the clouds, and
No,
it's been a long way through.
we've
Chair.
been clawing and clawing.
Well, I only learn of the meetings because that it keeps me abreast of what's going on, so.
That-
And so this is a
And-
big meeting
yeah.
because we finally have a consultant, well, they haven't agreed yet.
We got to them, but
They better.
We agreed around the table.
We haven't been
And
left
so-
in the altar
and
just
once-
yet.
Once they
I haven't
agree,
given an
Able
opportunity
City,
to have my
then we'll get
input.
started with
It's your
with the
proposal.
plan.
Great.
And it's gonna be exciting things like sidewalks and lighting
Which is exciting.
and,
It
yes,
is. It's a step,
Very good.
signage.
yeah.
And Mr. Chair, for me, obviously it's not on the agenda, but I'd like to learn about how we're gonna mobilize Able City, because I would like for them to start as soon as possible, whether it be through a work authorization or how is it that we're gonna do that? How does the city initiate a consultant, or is this sufficient for them to start our work?
Well, what I would suggest, if that's the case, if the staff can let us know if they execute the agreement, they can take a poll and we can have an earlier meeting than the 17th. And then at that point, we can start initial discussions.
And you recall that at a prior meeting, we discussed a couple of workshops and ideas to get together to start discussing this. So, as soon as possible, you know, and it doesn't have to be at the meeting intervals anymore. And as a matter of fact, I would suspect we're gonna be meeting a little more often than between the meeting intervals, now that we actually have a project manager on board that's gonna be making something move forward.
Very good.
So once we have the consultant on board, we can meet. Do we always have to meet and be recorded, or is there?
If we have a quorum, let's keep that point clear, and I think that's a very good point you're making right now, because sometimes boards forget that. You can't just gather, and all of a sudden discover that you have quorum for a TERS board, because that, you need to post that kind of deal. Certainly, you can meet with a contractor, 2 people, 3 people, but once you have the 5 of us, 4 of us, it's quorum, so watch out.
And the same goes for any discussions that happen electronically, like email or texting. If it's 4 or more, that's a potential violation.
It's called a walking quorum,
Yes.
and we don't wanna be accused of a walking quorum either.
So all I suggest is that we start thinking about a kickoff meeting where there could be more than an hour spent, and maybe at some point put a committee, a little small committee together to iron out the fine points of that workshop and present that at a board and see where, at the board meeting, and see where everybody stands on that. I think that would be the quickest way to
Agreed.
get this started.
Agreed. And if anybody, yes.
So what, if we wait till the next meeting to schedule a meeting, then we're potentially almost a couple months out of having that workshop. If, however, our consultant signed a contract, then we can schedule a
Yes.
kickoff meeting that you can schedule as the chair.
Yes.
We just have to notice it,
Right.
which, you know,
That's
$100.
exactly
As long as we
right.
notice it, we can all attend.
That's right.
And that can be as soon as in a week or two.
That can, right, exactly. When I said watch out, and that's a good point, thank you, Kirby. When I say watch out about walking quorums, doesn't mean we can't meet more often than we're scheduled to meet. It just means we have to post it.
Right.
So that there's sufficient notice to the public in case the public wants to attend.
I didn't see in the articles are you able to have committees?
I don't recall, to be honest with you. I need to review the
We
deal,
can just
but
do that.
I don't see why we couldn't.
There's no standing committees, we can just establish them as we see fit.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I don't see that
That's
should be a problem.
That's perfect. That's what you're going for.
Very good. The other thing we normally do towards the end of the meeting, because we don't want to discuss too much more that's not on the agenda, because I've been reminded a couple of times that I'm deviating from the agenda. But I just will remind everybody then that the next meeting is not, as the draft suggests, March, what was it?
It will be March
March
7th.
17th, tentative, unless you.
Officially, the next meeting is March 17th at 2:30. Unless we convene earlier because things are moving faster, you'll receive a notice from us.
Which would be considered a special meeting. These are the regularly scheduled meetings.
Thank you for that. That's a good point. Okay, next item on the agenda is adjournment. Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a
Second.
second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you very much. The meeting's over, I'll just say, thank you. I know I run these meetings